Lily stood at the edge of the burned field, her spear steady in both hands. Smoke curled around her boots as the sun sank behind distant mountains. She had fought in many battles, but this one felt different. She could sense something in the air, a tension that made her heart beat faster. Beyond the broken trees and smoldering earth, she saw him alone, wounded, and unafraid. John had crawled away from his crashed scout ship. The hull lay twisted behind him, metal plates torn open, like wounded skin. He had taken 2 bullets in his leg and 1 in his shoulder, but he refused to stay down. He pressed his back against a scorched tree trunk and watched the alien warriors advance. His breath came in ragged gasps. He gripped his sidearm with trembling fingers. He knew he was outmatched, but he had a single goal: buy time for his people, Lily's. Patrol moved in silence. Each warrior wore curved armor that shimmered like dark glass. Their weapons were silent energy blades, humming with barely contained power. She found their quiet unsettling. On every mission, the aliens shouted their war songs. Today, there was only the hiss of wind and the crackle of dying fires. Lily felt a chill crawl down her spine. John saw them coming, even before he looked up. His eyes narrowed as he weighed his options. His comlink was dead, destroyed in the crash. His pistol held only 3 shots. There were 6 of them. He had no chance. Yet he lifted the sidearm and fired once. The beam of light sliced through the air and struck one warrior's shoulder. The alien faltered, dropping to one knee, but did not fall. Lily heard the shot. Her hand tightened on the spear's grip. The others froze, their heads turning in unison. She stepped forward, raising her spear so its blunted tip caught the last rays of daylight. "Hold!" she called, her voice cutting clear through the silence. The patrol halted. A murmur ran through the warriors. None dared to question her command. Lily walked across the burned ground toward John. Each step felt heavy, as though the ground pulled at her ankles. She kept her eyes fixed on him. She felt curious about this human who fought despite being alone and wounded. John lowered his pistol slowly. Sweat mixed with blood on his cheek. He forced himself to sit up, straightening his back against the tree trunk. He raised his good hand in a sign of surrender. "I'm only human," he whispered, his voice hoarse. He tried to sound proud, but pain caught in his throat. Lily paused. Her grip on the spear tightened. She knelt down, bringing her face level with his. Moonlight glinted on her blue-tinted skin. Her eyes were deep and dark, but she saw something in John's gaze that surprised her: calm determination. She almost smiled. Instead, she leaned closer and said softly, "That's why you're feared." John blinked at her words. He felt a shiver run down his spine. He did not know whether she spoke as a warning or a compliment. He swallowed hard. "I only wanted to warn you," he said. "Your leaders want peace, or at least a truce." "I came to speak for my homeworld." Lily straightened. The other warriors watched silently. She raised her spear and tapped it once on the ground. The energy in the tip dimmed. "Your homeworld?" she repeated. Her voice held no mockery. She sounded curious. John nodded, wincing as pain stabbed through his leg. "We have no wish to fight the Khazari," he said. Khazari was the name humans gave her race. She had never heard humans call them that. She liked the sound of it. He paused and pointed to the south, where lights glowed in the valley. "There are refugees there. Our ships are coming. I can help broker a deal." Lily studied him for a long moment. The field around them was silent except for the crackling fires. Finally, she gave a slow nod. "Stand," she ordered. Then to her patrol she said, "Tie his hands, but do not harm him." 2 warriors moved forward with soft ropes made from braided fibers. They bound John's wrists gently behind his back. John winced but did not protest. He met Lily's gaze again. "Thank you," he whispered. He did not know why he trusted this alien, but something in her eyes told him she would keep her word. He felt hope rise inside him, fragile but real. Lily turned away and motioned for her patrol to move out. "We will escort you to the camp," she said. Then she strode back toward her scouts. John followed, hobbling as best he could. Moonlight guided their path through the broken forest. As they walked, John looked at Lily's form. She carried her spear as if it were part of her body. Her armor was light and flexible, built for speed rather than brute strength. He wondered how she learned to use it so well. He also wondered why she chose mercy over death when he must have seemed a threat. Lily walked steadily. Her thoughts raced. She had scaled cliffs, fought beasts in underground caves, and survived poison gas storms. Yet none of those trials compared to the questions stirring now. Why did humans refuse to flee when they faced impossible odds? Why did they keep coming back with weapons and words? She had orders to kill or capture anyone from their ships. Orders were simple, obedience was easy, but this human, he was different. They reached a clearing where a circle of tents stood beneath tall pines. Fires burned low in iron bowls. Inside the tents, she saw figures wrapped in blankets. Refugees, she guessed. Children huddled by mothers and older humans with tired faces stared at the sky. In the center, a human official sat at a folding table, scribbling notes. He looked up and frowned when he saw John. He escaped, the official said, rising. To his feet, his voice held relief and anger. "Where is she?" he asked, looking at Lily. "I found him," Lily replied. "I will bring him to you." She lifted John by the arm and led him forward. The official studied them both. He was a tall man with graying hair and sharp eyes. He bowed his head slightly at Lily. "I am Captain O'Neill," he said. "Thank you for saving Lieutenant Mills." John felt a surge of pride and confusion. Lieutenant Mills? He was John Mills? The captain placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "You gave them a chance to kill you," the captain said. "We owe you our lives." John looked at Lily. She nodded. Once, curtly, he managed a small smile. The captain's eyes flicked to Lily's spear. "And you are?" "Lily of the Shadow Clan," she answered. The captain frowned at her name, but did not question it. "We welcome your help, Lily of the Shadow Clan," he said. "But you must answer our questions first." Lily raised her chin. "Ask," she said. As John watched them talk, he thought of home, of the humans waiting for news. Fear had chased his people across the stars, but here, in this strange land, fear had also built bridges. He felt tired beyond measure, but also alive. For the first time since the crash, he believed there might be hope. The wind whispered through the pines. Somewhere, nightbirds called. Lily and the captain argued low, their words carrying just enough for John to hear. Negotiations, alliance, trust. He closed his eyes and leaned against a tree. He was only human. But that night, among the alien clans, he felt more than that. He felt the weight of his world on his shoulders and the chance to change it forever. Part 2. Lily walked beside the human tents as the first rays of dawn brightened the sky. The refugees stirred in their blankets. Some looked up at her with hope, others with fear. She held her spear upright and kept her face calm. Behind her, John Mills limped, supported by Captain O'Neill. Orchid Gray, the camp's medic, waited by the entrance. She motioned for them to come closer. Lily knelt beside John. Orchid lifted his shirt and examined the wound on his side. She pressed a cool cloth and cleaned the blood. John winced but did not cry out. Orchid spoke softly, her accent gentle. "You will live, Lieutenant, but you need rest." John nodded. His face paled. Lily watched Orchid wrap John's wound. She had never seen anyone care so gently for another's pain. Back home, warriors did not show such softness. She looked at the human's face. He did not flinch at pain. He stayed still, firm. A curiosity grew in her chest. Captain O'Neill cleared his throat. He motioned Lily aside. She stood and waited. He spoke in low tones so Orchid would not hear. "We need to prepare for the Zervan Council. They will want proof of human goodwill." Lily nodded. She did not speak human. She used her own tongue, and O'Neill listened carefully. "They will send scouts soon. They test strength, not words. We must show them our shelter and our people," O'Neill said. "Will you guide them?" He asked Lily. Lily studied his face. She knew Zervan scouts well. They rode swift beasts and fired silent weapons. Showing mercy was not their way. But she also knew the path through the forest and the hidden valley where the refuge camp lay. I will guide them, she said. John observed their conversation. He felt weak but alert. He thought of his comrades on the ships. They waited for news. They feared the Khazari might kill them all. He would not let fear win. He would help Lily. Inside a large tent nearby, Tiger Lee, the human envoy, arranged maps and scrolls on a rough wooden table. He called to O'Neill. We must choose our words. Carefully, the Zervan will test our honor. O'Neill nodded and left. Tiger folded the maps. John limped in, leaning on Lily. He raised his free hand and pointed to the maps. They will want to see our supplies. They will want to know why we are here. Tiger gave a small smile. You have been busy, he said. John sat on a chopped log. He looked at the maps. Red markings showed human positions. Green lines marked safe routes. He pointed to a river on the map. We used it to bring food and water, but now it is dry. We cannot supply much. Tiger frowned. We need to impress the Zervan. Maybe we can show how resourceful we are. John looked. At Lily, she remained silent, her eyes calm. Outside, the forest was quiet. Birds sang softly. Lily felt the wind on her skin. She thought of her home clan, the Shadow Clan. They prized stealth and silence. They feared no enemy. Yet now, she felt a strange need to protect these humans. Tiger rose. Lily, he said, switching to the Zervan tongue. Lily straightened and listened. Tiger spoke slowly, moving his hands. After a moment, Lily nodded. Tiger explained to John in basic human words. She says the Zervan will arrive in 3 hours. They will come at full strength. You must prepare your people. This will not be easy, John swallowed. We will do our best, he said. Tiger patted John on the shoulder. You have done more than most. Get some rest now. John nodded and closed. His eyes. Lily left the tent and breathed deeply. She ran her fingers along her spear. She thought of the tests she had passed. She had battled wild beasts and survived ice storms. But this test felt different. It was not her strength that mattered. It was her decision to help. She walked toward the edge of the camp. She saw small children peeking from behind tents, watching. She waved. One child stepped forward, curious. Lily knelt and offered her hand. The child touched Lily's armor carefully and smiled. Lily returned the smile. The child's mother came and apologized in shaky human words. Lily shook her head. She said her name in Zervan and pointed to her heart. She hoped the meaning came across. I care. The mother's eyes widened. She bowed and motioned her child away to safety. Lily walked back to the clearing. The sun climbed higher. She felt time pressing on her. Soon the Zervan scouts would come. She looked at the trees lining the camp. The forest was her ally. She knew hidden paths and safe spots. She would show them. Captain O'Neill found her. Lily, we leave soon, Lily nodded. She picked up a small bag and tied it to her belt. Inside were dried fruits and water flasks. She carried extra ropes and a flare device. She glanced at the camp once more. Ojo and slept on a blanket inside the tent. Orchid sat nearby, watching. Lily felt a pang of worry. She hoped he would be ready when the time came. Outside the camp, the forest opened to a narrow path. It led to a stone archway carved with ancient runes. The Zervan used it long ago, but they forgot its meaning. Lily touched the symbols. She felt power in them. She wondered if the humans understood. Captain O'Neill approached and studied the runes. He read a few lines from his notes. Peace door, he said. I think it means that those who pass with honest hearts will be safe. Lily nodded. She stepped through the arch first, spear held high. O'Neill and Tiger followed. Behind them, human and Zervan refugees watched. The path narrowed under tall trees. Light dappled the ground like a mosaic. Lily walked slowly, listening. She heard birds and the rustle of leaves. She felt the earth beneath her boots. She led the way, her spear at rest. After some time, they reached a clearing with smooth stones. Set in a circle, smoke rose from a small fire pit. Around it stood 4 Zervan warriors dressed in ceremonial armor. They held long spears that gleamed. Each bore a sigil of a different clan. Lily stepped forward and bowed. The warriors remained silent. Captain O'Neill cleared his throat and spoke. He introduced the humans and their wish for peace. He spoke in basic Zervan words he had learned. His pronunciation was rough but clear. Two warriors stepped forward with bowls of water. They offered the water to O'Neill and then to Lily. She drank a small amount and bowed again. The warriors observed closely. Then they gestured to the next bowl. O'Neill hesitated. Lily signaled him to continue. He drank. The warriors watched his face. They lowered their heads slightly. Next, Lily poured the contents of her bag. Dried fruit. She broke a piece and ate it. The warriors nodded. Tiger watched nervously. The fire crackled. A breeze blew leaves across the clearing. At last, one warrior spoke in low tones. Lily listened and then repeated the words in English for O'Neill and Tiger. They offered peace and proof that humans were sincere. The lead warrior nodded and motioned them to sit around the fire. The circle closed. O'Neill looked at Lily, gratitude in his eyes. Lily settled on a stone and placed her spear across her lap. As they waited, Lily gazed at the humans. She saw hope in their eyes. She thought of John's quiet strength. She felt a shift inside her. She wondered if she would ever see her own world the same way again. Above them, the sky was clear and bright. Birds called. The ceremony had begun. Lily took a deep breath and prepared to speak. Her heart beat steadily. She was only human. The fire crackled as the humans and Zervan sat in a circle under the open sky. Lily watched the lead warrior, his eyes calm but unreadable. John sat next to Captain O'Neill, still weak but alert. Tigers and Orchid remained close by. The air was cool, and the scent of pine filled the clearing. The lead warrior began speaking in the Zervan tongue. Lily translated slowly for the humans. Our clans honor strength and truth. You have shown mercy. Now you must prove your word. He pointed to a narrow path leading deeper into the forest. There is a cave beyond. Inside dwells a beast that hunts. Both Zervan and human, you must face it together. If you succeed, we will hear your plea. If you fail, you will face our blades. John looked at Lily. Fear trembled in his chest, but he stood. He said in his voice, "We accept." Lily nodded, thoughts racing. She rose and returned the bow. The warriors stood, their spears at rest but ready. The path was dark under thick branches. Lily led the way, her spear lit with a soft glow. John followed, leaning on O'Neill's arm. Tiger and Orchid stayed near him. Every rustle of leaves made Lily pause. She listened to the forest whispers. After a short walk, they reached the cave entrance. Its mouth was wide, with jagged rocks like teeth. Cold air blew out, carrying the smell of damp earth. Lily stepped forward, raising her spear. "Stay close," she whispered to John. Inside, torches flared and shadows danced. The floor was uneven and wet. Lily led them carefully. After some steps, they heard a low growl. Orchid froze. John gripped his sidearm. Lily signaled them to move forward. Deep in the cave, they found the beast. It was massive, fur-red and matted. Its eyes glowed yellow. Fangs dripped with saliva. It roared, the sound echoing off the walls. Tiger and O'Neill raised their weapons. Lily held her spear firm. John's heart pounded. His wound throbbed, but he did not think of pain. He thought of the humans waiting for peace. He raised his pistol and fired. The beam struck the beast's flank. It snarled and charged. Lily met it head-on. She dodged its swipe and pressed forward. Her spear glowed bright blue at the tip. She jabbed at the beast's side. It roared and turned its head, jaws snapping. John fired again, aiming for its leg. The beast faltered, its weight shifting. It lunged at Lily. She rolled aside and swung her spear in an arc. The blade struck its shoulder. The beast roared and ran deeper into the cave. Tiger moved forward, flanking it. His rifle fired, beams of light cutting through the dark. Orchid ran to John and pressed a healing salve on his leg. John felt strength return with the medicine. He rose and joined Tiger. Together they chased the beast. Lily ran beside them, her armor light and swift. The cave walls narrowed as they gave chase. At the cave end, they found the beast in a small chamber. It stood over 3 Zervan Batas. Lily's heart tightened. These were warriors who died protecting their clan. She felt anger burn in her chest. She raised her voice and called the beast. The beast turned, its fur bristling. It glared at Lily. She stepped forward alone. The humans stopped, watching. Lily did not flinch. She held her spear steady. She whispered in Zervan tongue, "Stop this. Blood, return peace to our lands." Her words were soft but carried through the chamber. The beast growled and charged again. Lily held her ground. When it reached her, she twisted the spear and struck its chest with the hilt. The beast stumbled. John seized the moment and fired his last shot at its head. The beam struck true, and the beast collapsed. Silence fell. The torch flames flickered. Lily stood with spear in hand, chest heaving. John limped forward and placed his hand on her shoulder. "You are brave," he said. Lily looked at him. She felt pride and relief. The beast lay still. Lily turned to the Zervan. Scouts, they had followed quietly. Now they stepped into the chamber. Their spears lowered. One scout knelt before Lily. He spoke in soft tones. Lily translated for the humans. "You have faced the darkness and chosen mercy. You have proven your word true." The group emerged from the cave. Dawnlight filtered through trees. The Zervan scouts formed a line. Lily, John, Tiger, and O'Neill stood at the front. Behind them, humans and surviving Zervan refugees gathered. The lead warrior approached. He raised his spear in salute. Lily did the same. John and O'Neill mirrored the gesture. The warrior spoke. "We welcome you as allies. Your courage has bridged our worlds. We will join you in peace." Cheers rose from the humans. Zervan voices joined in. Lily felt warmth spread in her chest. She watched John smile, despite pain. She felt hope. After the ceremony, John and Lily walked to the edge of the camp. John leaned on his pistol and pressed his hand gently on his wound. Lily stood beside him, holding her spear. John looked at Lily. He said softly, "You faced the beast. To save me and my people, I owe you my life." Lily shook her head. "You owe me nothing. You showed honor and courage. That is worth more than life." She smiled. John touched her arm lightly. He said, "Maybe humans and Zervan can be more than enemies." Lily nodded. "Yes," she said. "We can be friends." He laughed softly, the sound bright. They stood together in silence. The camp bustled around them. Traders set up stalls, children played, and warriors told tales of the cave. John straightened. He looked at the sky. Birds flew overhead. He said, "I want to help build this peace. I want to show both our worlds it is possible." Lily met his gaze. She felt a new purpose. She said, "We will start tomorrow. For now, rest." "You need your strength." John nodded. He closed his eyes and leaned. Into the night. Lily watched him go. She held her spear and looked at the clearing. She thought of her clans and the council. She thought of the trial. She thought of John and the humans. She whispered to the wind, "I am only Zervan." But she felt more. She felt the bond between their peoples. As stars shimmered above, Lily walked back to her tent. Tomorrow the real work would begin. But tonight she allowed herself to hope. Part 4 morning light filtered through the tent flap as John opened his eyes. His legs still hurt, but the pain was duller. He sat up and stretched, careful of his wound. Outside, he heard footsteps on soft earth. Lily knelt beside him, holding a small metal cup. "Water," she said softly in basic human words. John took the cup and drank. Cool water soothed his throat. He looked at Lily and nodded. "Thank you," he said. Lily smiled. She set the cup down and stood. She tapped her spear against the tent pole once, a silent signal. Outside, Captain O'Neill and Orchid prepared supplies. Tiger unfolded tents and talked quietly with human workers. John swung his legs out of the tent. He lowered himself to the ground and limped to a folding table. He picked up a map and unrolled it. The map showed the camp and the nearby town of Larian. The Zervan Council met there in a great hall carved into the mountainside. Captain O'Neill joined him. They meet. "In 3 days, we must present our treaty draft." John nodded. "I will help." He pointed to a path on the map. We can send riders to warn the townspeople and gather supplies. The captain studied the route. It is longer but safer. Good choice, Lily approached, her armor catching the sun's glow. She stood beside them. I can guide the riders. She said. Her words were quiet but certain. John looked at her. He felt relief. Her knowledge of the land would save time. We will leave tomorrow, Tiger said, joining the group. Today we prepare documents and rest. John nodded. He turned to Lily. Will you stay with us? He asked. Lily hesitated. She had duties to her clan, but she also had a bond now with John. She met his gaze and nodded slowly. I will stay. She said. John smiled. He felt hope bloom inside. Together they stepped outside the tent. The camp was busy. Humans and Zervan worked side by side. Some carried wood. Others loaded crates onto wagons. Children ran in the paths, laughing. Lily watched them. She felt warmth in her chest. In a corner of the camp, Tiger and the lead Zervan warrior sat together over a scroll. Lily joined them. The warrior spoke in Zervan tongue. Lily translated, Our council fears human greed. They need proof that you will not take what is not yours. Tiger sighed. We offer trade, not conquest. We will share our crops and technology. Lily repeated the words. The warrior nodded but did not smile. John found Orchid in the medic tent. She was packing herbs and bandages. You need more rest, she said, gently pushing him back onto a cot. John closed his eyes as she dressed his wound again. Orchid spoke of healing and peace. Lily stood by, learning the human medicine. After the wound was dressed, John rose. He thanked Orchid and helped pack the supplies. He placed a small sachet of healing herbs in his pouch. Orchid smiled and patted his shoulder. That afternoon, Lily led John and O'Neill to a stone circle near the camp edge. The stones stood tall, each carved with human and Zervan symbols. It was a meeting place from long ago. Lily knelt before one stone and traced a symbol with her finger. This tells a story, she said, of two peoples who once fought, then united. John knelt beside her and looked. The stone showed humans and Zervan leaning spears together and raising a banner. The banner design, half human eagle, half Zervan star, was similar to the one they planned to use. Our ancestors, John said softly. They tried peace before, Lily nodded. She felt a connection across time. She stood and brushed dirt from her knees. We can honor them, she said. They returned to camp as the sun sank low. Fires were lit and lanterns glowed. Dinner was stew cooked over open flames. Humans and Zervan ate together, passing bowls and sharing stories. John ate slowly. Lily watched him eat, curious about human customs. After dinner, Tiger gathered everyone. Under a large tent, he held the treaty scroll rolled tight. He spoke of peace, of shared futures, and of fear overcome. Lily translated each line into Zervan tongue. Her voice was steady. When Tiger finished, silence fell. The lead Zervan warrior rose. He unrolled his own scroll. It had Zervan words and human symbols. He spoke. Lily translated for the humans. We agree to your terms, he said. We pledge to protect your people and lands. In return, we ask only respect for our customs. Cheers rose. Lily lowered her spear and raised her hand in victory. John laughed and hugged O'Neill. The humans and Zervan stood together, united. Later, by a small fire, John and Lily sat alone. The flames danced in their faces. John picked up a small wooden flute that O'Neill had given him. He played a soft tune. The notes echoed in the night air. Lily listened, her spear leaning against a rock. She felt peace wrap around her. She thought of the coming days, riders on safe paths, meetings in mountain halls, treaties signed. She felt hope for both peoples. John finished the tune and looked at Lily. Thank you, he said, for everything. Lily met his gaze. She smiled softly. I only did what was right. They sat in silence, watching sparks rise to the sky. The bond between human and Zervan grew stronger. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight they found rest. As the fire died, Lily stood. She picked up her spear and held it close. She whispered to John, We will face the future together. John nodded, closing his eyes. Lily walked to her tent under the stars. She felt the weight of her journey, but she also felt strength. She had chosen peace, and she would protect it with all her might. Outside, the fire burned low, casting soft light on sleeping figures. The night held promises. Dawn would bring riders with news and travelers with stories. For now, the camp slept, united by hope and courage. Lily closed her tent flap and lay down. As she drifted to sleep, she thought of John's words. "You are feared because you are only human." She smiled and whispered in return, "And that is why we are strong." Part 5. Dawn broke clear and cool. Birds called in the pines. Lily stepped from her tent, spear resting by her side. She dressed quickly in light armor and tied her hair back. The camp stirred with activity. Riders readied horses and humans packed. Wagons, Zervan scouts checked their weapons. John stirred in his tent. Orchid sat beside him, pressing healing herbs on his leg. He opened his eyes and smiled at her. "Thank you," he said softly. Orchid nodded and left. John rose slowly, leaning on his sidearm for support. He dressed and stepped into the morning. Lily found John and O'Neill by the wagons. They stood by. Horses and loaded crates of food and medicine. Tiger and the lead Zervan warrior checked maps nearby. Riders waited, their mounts stamping on the ground. "Today we go to the council hall," O'Neill said. "We must arrive by midday." John nodded. "Lily, will you guide us?" Lily smiled and tapped her spear. "I will." She turned to the riders. "Follow me closely. Stay on the path." The column moved out. Human wagons rolled slowly, led by Zervan scouts on horseback. Lily rode at the front, her spear across her back. She guided them down a narrow trail between tall trees. Sunlight filtered through leaves, making patterns on the ground. After an hour, they left the forest and climbed rocky slopes. The air grew thin and cold. Jagged mountains rose around them. A river wound in the valley below, and the town of Larian lay at its end. White stone buildings glowed in the sun. "There is the council hall," Lily said, pointing to a mountain face. A great door carved with symbols stood at its base. Red banners flew above it. Humans and Zervan had added their own designs, an eagle, and a star joined in unity. The riders slowed as they approached. Zircon scouts dismounted and cleared the path. Lily led the column through the door. Inside, a grand hall lay carved in rock. Pillars rose like trees, and carvings showed ancient treaties and battles. Tiger stepped forward and bowed. John followed and nodded. Behind them, humans and Zervan stood silent. Lily stood to one side, holding her spear. On a raised platform, the Zervan council sat. Elders in ornate robes watched. Their eyes were wise and serious. At their center sat the matriarch, her hair silver and eyes bright. She spoke in low tones. The matriarch began in the Zervan tongue, and Lily translated, "We welcome you to our hall. You bring words of peace. Speak now, humans. Let us hear your plea." Tiger unrolled the treaty scroll and held it high. He spoke clearly. "We come in friendship. We ask to share land and knowledge. We will respect Zervan ways and protect each other." Lily translated each line slowly. The matriarch studied the scroll and nodded. She raised a hand, and a Zervan guard brought a second scroll. It lay beside the human scroll. The matriarch unrolled it and spoke. Lily translated, "We agree to join our people. We will share water and crops. We will defend each other from any foe." Cheers echoed in the hall. Humans and Zervan looked at each other with hope. The matriarch raised both scrolls and pressed them together. She announced, "So it is written, so it shall be." A beam of light shone through a crack above, illuminating the scrolls. After the ceremony, John and Lily stepped down. O'Neill greeted the matriarch. "Thank you for your trust," he said. The matriarch nodded and offered a small carved box. She said, "A gift for the human envoy. May it bring wisdom?" O'Neill accepted humbly. John approached Lily. His wound still twinged, but he stood tall. "We did it," he said. "Thank you for guiding us." Lily shook her head. "You did it yourselves. I only showed the way." She smiled softly. Tiger gathered the humans and Zervan for a feast in the hall. Long tables were set with food from both worlds: roasted meat, fruits, berries, and a sweet spice bread. Lamps glowed warmly, and laughter rose. Lily walked among the tables, greeting both humans and Zervan. She saw children playing, humans teaching Zervan games, and warriors sharing stories. She felt a deep joy. John found Lily and offered her a bowl of stew. She accepted and tasted it. The flavors were new and rich. She nodded and said, "It is good." John smiled. "Welcome to human taste," he said. As the feast ended, Tiger stood on a stone bench. He raised a glass. "To peace and friendship," he said. The crowd cheered. Afterward, the hall emptied. Humans and Zervan returned to camp. John walked with Lily to the door. Outside, the sky was dark with stars. The mountains stood silent. John turned to Lily. He said, "We will build schools here. We will trade medicine and art. We will learn from each other." Lily nodded. Her eyes shone with hope. John reached into his pocket and pulled out a small medal. Token. It bore an eagle and a star carved together. He held it out. "For you," he said, "so you remember our bond." Lily accepted it and pressed it to her heart. She whispered, "I will wear it always." John smiled. He placed it around her neck. Tying a leather cord. Lily touched the token and looked at John. She said, "I feared humans because I thought they only knew war. Now I know they know hope." John took her hand. "And fear is what held us back. But we have overcome it." They stood together in the silent night. The mountains watched. The wind whispered through the stone. John said, "I will return to my ship. Soon, but I will come back." Lily nodded. "You are welcome always." She smiled. John bowed and walked away. Lily watched until he disappeared into the camp lights. She pressed her hand to the token and looked at the stars. She thought of home, of her clan, and of the future. With steady steps, she turned and walked back into the hall. Dreams of a new world filled her mind. Outside, the wind carried the echoes of laughter and songs. Peace had come to both peoples. Dawn approached. The mountains glowed pale gold. Lily stood at the hall entrance, spear in hand, watching the sun rise on a new era.